Okay. I think we've got all of the things and stuff in place for where they need to be. My pad keeps bulging upwards, but not much we can do about that. So I'm thinking of a different way to handle the finished product. We might like get a dowel and glue like a pocket at the top and bottom. Put like little knobbies on the end, maybe. Just to kind of help with the weirdness. I don't know. I haven't decided yet. So, how is everybody today? It is Monday. I know we're going a little bit early. I'm not going to change the 4 o'clock start time in case I have a day where I'm running late. Today was an oddity. I've not had much sleep today, if any. There's this like weird energy in the air. I don't know if it's the wind or whatever. It's really windy today. Couldn't sleep. I was real stuffy. My sinuses were angry. And trying to fall back asleep when I woke up when the husband's medication alarm went off at 11. Just, it wasn't happening. And I don't think I fell asleep till almost 6:30 this morning. So I got a couple of hours, but not as much as I would like. So, yeah. What can you do, you know? One of those days. One of those days. Alright, so for my WoW people, the Love is in the Air event has started. Article is up on the website. There was a couple new minor things that I didn't bother putting in the article because I didn't really think they were going to affect any of the challengers enough to bother. The rocket mount drop has been increased slightly, and challengers really can't do dungeons, so I was kind of like, meh, that don't matter. I mean, teams can, but you have to be a full team of 5, and the team tracker's not working right now, so I don't really know how many people are running a full team of 5 at the moment, but their rules are listed on there. The other thing that they didn't mention in the blue post, which kind of threw me for a loop, I would have started sooner, but I was trying to figure out how I wanted to handle it, was that they're awarding I don't know if it's really extra. They're awarding points for completing some of the holiday event quests for the trading post. And I gotta be honest, I really haven't played WoW in the past week and a half since the trading post came in. I think if I was in, it wasn't for very long. And I didn't even look at the trading post. And when I was trying to find out about the trading post, it seems like any character on your account can earn credit with it by doing the thing. It's not specific to one character. So you could like do the thing to earn the points on this character and maybe spend the points on that character. I don't know. I was really confused by it. And at that point, my fucks to give kind of ran out. And I'm like, fuck it. It doesn't seem like it's specific to challengers. It's kind of an account thing, so we're just not gonna go there and create more confusion than needed. And so just, you know, maybe save that for your normals. There is a couple of potential, not sponsored, I just need caffeine. There's a couple of potential account-wide credit thingies that came in with the trading post. Zaya's on vacation we left a message for him to look into that when he comes back. He saw the request and he's like, yeah, I'll look into it when I get home. So I was like, cool, thanks. So we know there's a slight issue. So if you're running a Bloodthirsty and you got credit for quests for the trading post that weren't allowed, sit tight, don't do anything, just let it be. Give us another week or two, and because I don't know when Zaya's due back, and give him a chance to look into it, and then, you know, we'll go from there. But we are aware that it is tossing up credit, so we need to look into that to see if that was just an account-wide thing or if your character actually did go to the trading post. But we are seeing it pop up, so I do have the request in for it to be investigated further. Alright, so yesterday we started episode 5. Speaking of, I think I remembered to turn Moobot back on. I'm a little slow and tired today, so bear with me. It's not quite as migraine incompetent, but it's close. I'm just tired. It's not migraine level, but annoying to me nonetheless. So we're starting episode 5 of season 3, the follow along. It's just in Hills. This is one of the ones I was not crazy about. Now that I'm kind of breaking it down a little bit, I'm getting a little more used to the mentality of where I need to be on this one. Might not be quite so bad. So we got in our preliminary sketching yesterday. This is a long guy. He's in portrait orientation, so we are zoomed out a little bit further. This is our prelim sketch that we did for where things are going to get placed. And last night when I was refilling the fluff bags from the other project that we just finished, I realized I had not fluffed the watercolor yet in the new yarn. So I was like, oh shit, we need to do that. So I was fluffing yarn from like 1:30 this morning till like 4:30 this morning, just topping off the other colors and getting that new color sorted. Then the paint box Simply Chunky fluffs very nicely, I will say. Very cottony, silky feel to it. So we got in our upper sky color, the gray. Now he has it as like a Van Dyke brown, liquid white, alizarin crimson kind of combo going on up there. So it kind of looks like a grayish dirt, I guess, to me. I changed that color to the soft gray yarn. We're just gonna go with that. We could have gone with the dark gray, the medium gray, but I wanted to save that for the trees in the hill lines, so I wanted the sky to be a little bit softer. So we went with the soft gray in the big twist. I didn't write down all my colors, it would seem. I found out yesterday, and much to my dismay, I was like, what was I doing? I must have been trying to rush through. Or just not paying attention. So, I mean, the front colors we can figure out. Maybe that's where my mentality was. It's like, meh, they speak for themselves. So, I must not have thought I was going to have too much trouble with that. So, we're moving on to this block of color here today, and this is going to be our light rose in the big twist. This is still sky color in here. And we'll see what we can do. I think doing that prelim sketch definitely did help with me figuring out where I wanted to be with this guy. And the phone is ringing. Great. I don't know why the phone is ringing. Russell went to go pick up my dad from the hospital. Hang on, I gotta go check that. Never mind. It either stopped or my mom answered it. I don't know which. Alright, so I don't know if this is enough light rose. We'll find out. So the light rose in the big twist almost has a grayish tone to the pink. So I thought, yeah, that could work. I mean, that kind of seems to fit in. This one's a little bit more coarse than some of the other yarn colors I've found. Or maybe that was just a bad brushing. Either's possible. So just gonna get a chunk of this guy mixed together here, fluffed and all that jazz. So let's see here. I'm gonna turn him sideways for just a minute because I want to see where we're at here. I don't want to lose the line on the side here too much. Yeah, so I don't know. I feel like I'm moving real slow today. So apologies if I'm not terribly chatty. And if you guys have questions, feel free to ask and I will do my best to answer them. But we'll see how things go. I was watching the coverage of the earthquake in Turkey last night. That was crazy. I feel so bad for those people. There's just so much destruction. It's like, oh my god, what do you do first? It's like they don't have enough equipment. They don't have enough hands that know how to use the equipment. It's just awful. So, good thoughts going out to them in the hopes that they can manage to salvage something from the wreckage, and hopefully they pull out some more people that are still alive from all those collapsed buildings. Just hope everybody working to try to find people stay safe. The whole thing, it's ugh. Wow. Just wow. If you do end up donating to any GoFundMes, totally your option. Just make sure to try to verify the GoFundMe if you can, as much as you're able to make sure it's a legit GoFundMe. Or, you know, a legit organization to where the money's gonna go, because it's sad, but it's times like this when people will take advantage. And we don't like to think about that, but there are those out there that will be like, hey, we can make a quick buck, and, you know, do non-real or non-associated with any sort of relief effort GoFundMe or something, and the money never goes to where it's supposed to. So just try to don't give to anybody, you know. Make sure if you are giving, it's legit. Oh, we're gonna have sirens here in a minute. It's very windy here today. I hope there's no fires. Hopefully that's like an accident call, although that makes me nervous because the husband just left a few minutes ago. Hopefully he's okay. Most likely not related. But you know your brain goes there. My brain does. It's like, oh shit. Alright, I think... Yeah, okay. I just had to make sure that my mic was on. Because I had the vague memory of doing Planet Zoo last night. I was like, oh wait, were we live or were we recording? We were live. So I started the Tundra build. For our husband-wife build-off competition that we're doing. The Tundra biome area. I may have said zoo, I meant the Tundra section. I couldn't remember. I was like, wait, was that a live stream? I remember doing something zoo last night. And for the off-stream builds on that, I'm muting my mic and all of it because it's less that I need to bother recording. And I rip out and mute that audio anyway. And overlay music on it for the speed build time-lapsey doodles, so I don't have time to sit there, the energy or the memory of what the fuck I was doing to do voiceover by time everything's said and done. I still have 11 chunks of video that range from an hour and a half to 3 hours to edit on that. I didn't do any video editing last night. My brain was mushy and I'm like, yeah, we're gonna take the night off from doing any of that. So we worked on our much needed yarn fluffing. I still have a ton of yarn fluffing I need to do. Wow, that's funny. I'm tapping in here and it almost looked like there was a little bit of gray strands in this pink. I'm like, the pink's laid down on top of this. What is this about? I think we might let it be just to give it a little bit more swirly textures and things. That could work to our advantage here, as we are putting it in our cloud area. I still have to get photos of the project we finished yesterday and get those posted up. Oh man, so the ceiling we have in this room, it's a higher ceiling. I wouldn't necessarily call it vaulted, but it is higher. I don't think it's quite as tall as a vaulted ceiling. And there's like these sticky backed tiles. It's not a drop ceiling because those tiles you can move around and stuff. They're like adhesive on the back and they're just kind of stuck up there. Or maybe they weren't adhesive and they added the adhesive. I don't fucking know. It's similar to what the ceiling was in our other room. And that started to fall down and we had to... That ceiling's a mess in there. We have to really redo the entire ceiling, but we only had enough money to get the tiles to cover the patches that got ripped off entirely. They couldn't be salvaged. And every time the wind blows real hard today, our ceiling's making these weird like popping noises and I'm like, oh, why? I'm like waiting for one of these ceiling tiles to just let go and fall on my head. I mean, nothing looks like it's drooping, so, you know, it's stupid, but and irrational. But every time the wind gusts up, I'm like, what are you doing up there? I'm like, can we not? Can we not, please? Oh my goodness. My brain's just like, yeah, no. I was sitting there trying to figure out how to, if I wanted to even touch the trading post thing, because I really don't know much about it for the holiday article update. And my brain kind of clicked on to screensaver mode, and I suddenly was just scrolling through the YouTube short videos, and I'm like, why? And then I was like, wasn't I doing something? And I was like, oh wait, yeah, I was. Shit. I'm like, what time is it? I was like, oh fuck, because I was sitting here trying to get my thoughts together, and then the husband's was sitting here just kind of in the same sort of vegetative state, because both of us are just exhausted, and he's like, alright, I'm gonna go in the other room and check on the cat and hang out with her for a little bit. He's like, because in theory I have my stream tonight. And I was like, oh right, I should probably get started. And I was like, wait, did I finish everything else? And I'm like, wait, what time is it? And I was like, oh shit, I somehow had an hour disintegrate on me of just like being in screensaver mode. And I'm like, yeah, okay, I really should get some caffeine in me. Had a little bit of water already. I actually managed to eat a yogurt before we got going, so I've had something in my stomach of some description. And we don't know when the mother-in-law is coming back. It was supposed to be today. And then there was talk of it being tomorrow from the husband. And he's like, I don't know what the hell she's doing. He was saying she might not come back till tomorrow so that she can lessen the amount of time that her sister doesn't have her car. And I'm like, it's your mother's car. Technically, it's your car because the car's in your name. Technically. Your aunt's just gonna have to fucking cope because your mom needs her car. Like, I don't understand this. And he doesn't either. He doesn't understand why she is being weird about making sure that the sister has the car. I mean, she can't borrow the other sister's car for 10 minutes to run to the store. Like, the other sister's not off at work either. I'm just like, the other sister's retired. I don't understand. Unless the other sister won't let her drive her car, which could be possible. I don't get it. Alright, I don't want too many thin spots, but a couple thin spots may not be too bad. The background color on this, at least in the sky, might work to our advantage on this one. Or if we do have a thin spot, depending on how the thin spot occurs, it might look, it might not be obvious. It might look like it belongs kind of thing. So we're gonna feel this out and see how this progresses here. And if I'm not liking the thin spot, we'll just come back and we can add more fluff on top of it. Not a big deal. Not really. Two of these cats were just going nuts last night. Oh my goodness. It was late too. We were sitting here and they were being a little ornery during the Planet Zoo stream. And then after I got done, the husband's like, it's kind of nice out. You want to go for a walk? And I'm like, thinking, I'm looking at him, I'm like, isn't it chilly? And I was like, well, maybe it was just me. And we haven't been doing our walks as much because we've either been tired, or I've had a migraine, or the weather's not been cooperative. Just shit kept happening, basically. So, and we've been trying to at least get a walk in a day, get some kind of, you know, exercise of some description. And we stepped outside. I'm like, oh damn, it's cold. But I just kind of went with it, and as we were finishing up, the husband's like, it's getting chilly, and he goes, oh, you know, because we were walking past the Sonic that's near our house, and I was like, man, I would not want to be one of those delivery drivers, because they had a tractor trailer doing a delivery, and it was late. It was well past the business's close time, and nobody was there, so they were doing like a I guess they have like a key to access like a delivery drop window or whatever, and I was like, I do not envy that person. I'd be creeped out because the parking lot was all dark back where the dude was setting up to do the drop off, and I'm just like, ugh, that would unnerve the shit out of me. But it was kind of like jump scare zombie apocalyptic dark last night, is what we like to refer to it as. It's bizarre, I know, but I have a piece of glitter. I think it's a piece of glitter. Maybe it's not a piece of glitter. What are you? I don't know what you are. It wasn't sparkling after I fussed with it a couple of times, so maybe it wasn't a piece of glitter. But, you know, we were talking about that, and then I looked up at the lights, and I was like, is it getting foggy? Or is it haze? Like, what is that in the light? Is that just the light? Like, it looked like there was something else in the lights. He's like, I don't know. And then he goes, oh, maybe it is fog. He's like, look at the grass. It's getting sparkly. He's like, I guess it is pretty chilly. I'm just starting to feel it now. I was like, yeah, I've been pretty cold the whole walk. I'm glad I grabbed my heavier jacket. And when we came back, I don't know if the cats were feeling the new weather front moving in or what, but the two of them just raising hell in here, thundering all over the place, wrestling with each other, thumping on the floor, throwing each other on the floor, and I'm like, will you two stop? Running in and out of here, you know, cat feet scritching because they couldn't get traction. I'm just like, what is happening? And the one cat must have been either fucking with the dog's box that he's deemed as his bed. They loved the guinea pig bag. Oh my god. Guinea pig hay box. There we go. Words are hard. The guinea pig hay box. So much. One of the smaller ones that we got. I think it was the 25-pound box. That they wanted it for their bed. They won't sleep in a regular dog bed. We had tried before and they were just like, nah. But we threw one of my old pillows in there and they're like, yeah, this will work. And so they like, it's Momo's bed now. Zuzu will sometimes try to get in there with them, but it's usually just Momo. And I guess Peabut was either messing with the ottoman that was next to it, and Momo was getting mad about it. Oh, hey, Zorts. Oh, hold on. What happened there? It got cut off. I think it got cut off. I'm gonna have to have him check that. I need to make a mental note to see if that did actually get cut off. It looked like the flamingo on the side wasn't fully showing. I don't know if I did something or if he did something. We'll have to check on that. How are you, sir? They're just being so damn bad. And so Momo had had enough, right? Momo's pretty laid back guy. And we're sitting here and I'm like, cats, stop it. And then all of a sudden we heard Momo start growling. And Momo doesn't really growl at anything. And we're like, grrr. And I'm like, you okay, Momo? And then he goes, because I can't see his dog bed from where I'm sitting. I've got too much stuff towered around me in my little wall of Niseytude. And I heard it again. He goes, grrr, like more forcefully this time. And Russell looked over. He goes, what's the matter? And then Peabut was standing next to the bed, and Momo like jumped up and was in his face. And we're like, Peabut, you better stop. Like, Momo's not afraid of you. I'm like, don't piss off the old guy, okay? He wants you to leave him alone. And Russell redid Momo's blankets in his bed because he keeps like just making a mess out of them, trying to nest, and then they get lumpy, and then he gets mad because he can't get them the way he wants them. And then we try to help him, and he settles for like 5 minutes, and then he's like, nope, I do it. And then he messes them all up again, and he finally got settled. And I look over and I see Peabut fucking with the side of his box, of the dog's bed box. At first I thought there was a toy in there, and I picked up the blanket off the floor and there was no toy in it. I'm like, you better leave him alone. They were just so bad last night. So you just woke up, you're not sure yet? Yeah. I should have just woke up myself, but sleep does not exist right now. Maybe we'll try to lay down earlier tonight. We'll see. I've got a lot in store for tonight, so we'll see how far I get. I need to edit some more video. I'll probably be working on that while the husband is doing his stream, if he's still up to doing his stream. He just went to go get my dad. And the doctor at the hospital kind of did something that rubbed us the wrong way a bit. Like my dad just kept saying he just wanted to go home. Because, you know, he's tired of being up there. He doesn't have all of his things, his entertainment, his laptop. You know, his TV. Oh, it's almost Boz's bedtime. Sleep sounds good. How was your vacation, my friend? Did you enjoy Disney? I wasn't sure how long you were going to be gone. And apparently when the doctor called and talked to my mom this morning, he said something about, well, do you want us to push about him going to a home? And my mom's like, what? Why? And apparently they had done this one other time before and I didn't know about it. And Russell's like, yeah, the home that they're talking about, if he ends up there, they will have all control over his medication. They will, like, if he's signed in there, they, like, have all control over him. Like, he doesn't get to touch his medication, he doesn't get to keep track of it, they'll be giving it to him. And my mom's like, she's like, why? And we're like, no, why would we do that? I'm like, number one, he can't afford that. And number 2, why? I mean, as long as he can still get up and get himself to the bathroom, for number 2, at the very least, because he has some number 1 little like bedside container things. I'm trying to figure out the nicest way to put it. I'm like, as long as he can get up to go number 2 and we can deal with his other stuff, why would we, like, I'm like, do they know something we don't? Like, I'm really confused. My mom wasn't too thrilled about that. And Russell was kind of pissed about it too, to be perfectly honest. And I'm just like, but why? I don't know. It was very strange. But they ended up giving him an IV of iron this morning. And that's what we were waiting on before they cut him loose. So I don't know if his cirrhosis of his liver's gotten worse, or it's because he was off that other medication that he was taking to counteract the constipation that one of his other medications was giving him, that somehow had a side effect of either helping his liver work better or keeping the cirrhosis kind of dormant and things sort of functioning. But I don't know. I mean, he was taking iron supplement pills on top of it. But now they're like, no, we want to do this every couple of months now. We're like, okay. Sure. I don't really think they know what the fuck happened. He was still a little confused yesterday, but Russell seemed to think it was just because he was tired. Because he was pretty okay about the days leading up to him going to the hospital. He said he's really only been a little fuzzy about his time in there. It was amazing. You were there for 9 days. Nice. I'm glad you had a good time. I'm sure it was much, much needed. This is a bit of a pastel-y color on this background. It's a little washed out, but I didn't want anything too terribly bright for this section. Plus we've got our bits here not too thick and heavy. Hopefully the weather was okay. There's one set of vloggers from Florida that do a lot of the Orlando parks and stuff, and they were bundled up for them, but they're like, it's 70, we're freezing. They're like, I know other people are like, that's not cold, but to us it was cold. Although the one day, the one guy went to SeaWorld had invited them out for the start of the Seven Seas Food Festival, and he was like all bundled up. He's like, it's 58. He goes, it's pretty chilly. He's like, that's the first time I've really ridden Mako in some time that I didn't have my sunglasses on. And he goes, man, because it was dark out by the time he had gotten there and gotten on the ride. He goes, man, that wind really got my eyes. They started watering. Not used to riding that without my sunglasses on. Which I thought was kind of funny. I'm trying to figure out what I want to do for dinner. I don't fucking know. I didn't feel like cooking pot or stew tonight, so I'm like, either have the beef cubes for stew or something similar. That's still gonna be a pain in the ass because I have to keep going and checking the water level and stuff in the pot, make sure it didn't all boil out. Or I could see if I had chicken. I'm like, I guess we'll do chicken. I might do chicken and macaroni and cheese. Maybe some broccoli. Well, there was amazing. I cannot speak today. I apologize. Brain and mouth are just not on the same page today. Back home, you left during a blizzard and a power outage and came home to -17. Well, did you have power when you came back? I guess is the key question. Ugh, yeah, our weather's been shit the past 2 weeks, week and a half, I guess 2 weeks. We had a snowstorm, and then the snowstorm no sooner got cleaned up, and we were starting to figure out about rescheduling appointments that got canceled because of the snow. And then we had an ice storm where we had sleet and freezing rain come in. And Russell kept saying, look, it snowed. I'm like, no, it didn't. And he goes, yeah, look, there's snow in the grass. I'm like, that's not snow, that's sleet. It sleeted so hard, it looked like snow. We didn't lose our power though, thank goodness. Some people in the area did. Some people were without power for like 36 hours. So that was crazy. Apparently it took 3 days to come back. Oh my god, I saw somebody tweet, and I think they were from Texas, that their power went out on February 1st, and the power company was estimating it was going to be back on the 12th, and they're like, are you fucking kidding me? I was like, yo, dog. That ain't right. It's like, what? What is this? The 12th? Like, I didn't think they had gotten an ice storm that bad. Like, is there parts on back order or something? Like, I'm very confused. That seems like an irrationally long amount of time. Just be like, damn. People on that power grid better invest in some solar panels or something, or a wind turbine. Something. Something. Alright. Oh my goodness. Alright. Yeah, all of this one's actually pretty coarse. I guess it was the color. Nah. Go that way. I'm trying to think, what's the longest that we've been without power here? Our power companies suck out there. Yeah, I've heard stories. What was the longest? I think the longest we were without power was maybe... Oh gosh. What was it? I think it was about 24 hours, roughly. Maybe 20. No, maybe it was closer to 24. From when the dump truck, that's because Texas power infrastructure isn't made to handle anything like that, even after it happened a few times in the last 10 to 20 years. Of fucking course, the state level government never follows through on promises to fix it. Yeah, pretty much. Like, I'd be like, yo, we're moving. I can't can't with this, or I'd be getting solar panels and swallowing the expense and just doing something, because that's dumb. Paying all that money for no service. I'd be like, yo, I'm not paying this week, because no. Shit's expensive. Our electric bill is expensive. No, I think the longest we were without power was almost 24 hours, when the dump truck hit the neighbor's mailbox. It crossed the lane of traffic, hit the neighbor's mailbox, obliterated that. That was laying in our driveway. Hit the telephone pole at the edge of the one side of our driveway. Dude somehow, I guess, quote unquote, woke up and veered the dump truck back into his lane of traffic. And it ended up stopping across the street from us on an incline just before it hit the corner of the church across the street. It like came within a foot or two of hitting the fence around the little playground area that they have outside for, I guess, Bible school or their daycare that they do 2 days a week. I got lucky on that one. I got real lucky on that one because I had just logged out of WoW. I was working on a challenger, I remember this. And I think it was like 11 or so, 11:30, and I was like, I'm really hungry. I kind of need to go to the bathroom. Like, let me log out, get up, check on the dogs, see what they need. And I had just stood up and was stretching. And I didn't hear anything, which is weird because this house is not soundproof at all. I didn't hear anything, but all of a sudden, as I turned, and I was in the room that I'm in right now, which is on the corner of the house that had the telephone pole that got hit. I was just standing here, and I went to turn, and something flew past the porch, and I was like, and it looked big. I was like, what the fuck was that? And I'm looking at it, and then I hear a bang, and then I see the dump truck driving up the grass across the street, and I was like, what the fuck just happened? And then I'm hearing police sirens, and somebody bailed out of the dump truck and took off running, and I'm like, what the fuck is going on? The cops were chasing them. I think our lights blinked, and then the mother-in-law was home, and we're like, what the fuck? And then there's people driving through the wreckage of the accident, through the telephone pole chunks on the edge of the road, getting caught up in the wires still. I'm like, you see wires hanging down across the road, draping over it. And y'all are still trying to drive through here, not knowing if these are electrical lines or communication lines. And apparently one of the people associated with the dump truck was across the street, and I'm yelling at people to stop because we didn't know if the power lines were live or not. And the dude across the street goes, they're not live, they're communication wires. And I'm like, they're still attached to my house, and they're still driving over it and pulling it and causing more damage. Shut up. Like, I was like, stop talking. Like, I was so mad. I'm like, just mind your business. And he was like, okay. I was like, oh, buddy, you are fucking paying for this mess. Apparently he owned the company that the dump truck was driving for, and it was his brother that had been driving the dump truck. the brother's girlfriend had been in the dump truck with him in the passenger seat. She's the one that jumped out and ran. And, like, there was a side street that they could have turned down and gone around. Like, our house is, like, there's a house on the corner and then it's us. They could have turned down that side street and gone that way because the cops didn't have a chance to start stopping traffic yet. And there was a tractor trailer on the other side of the street that couldn't go because the way the wires were hanging down. He at least had enough sense to fucking stop. And I'm just like, oh my god. So the girlfriend bailed out of the dump truck. The cops were chasing her. It turns out she bailed because she had warrants. Of course. That's how that goes. And I say this because my brother was in and out of jail. I know things, and my other brother was a cop, so I'm not surprised at this whatsoever. And from the way the story went that we were told, and I'm gonna stick allegedly in here because I don't know if it was proven. Allegedly, this guy's brother, who was driving the dump truck for the brother's company, the brother had been following him. Brother 1, the owner, had been following brother 2, the driver of the dump truck. Apparently he was allegedly in the middle. Brother 2 was allegedly on a meth bender and had quote unquote woken up driving the dump truck, or had fallen asleep driving the dump truck and then woke up. Something along those lines. It was very confusing to how they were describing it. And I'm like, I really don't care what the fuck happens. This is a problem. And there's wires ripped out of the roof of our house. Russell was at work. And I didn't know if I should call him and tell him to come home. Because I didn't want his job getting bad. And, I was just like, what the fuck is happening? Because, manufacturing floor, they only get so many minutes. And I was looking at the time, and I'm like, well, he went into work at 6 a.m. He's not going to be home till 6 p.m. And I thought we had it handled. Like, the mother-in-law was calling the insurance company for the house. And then the electric company showed up, and they're, like, cutting wires. And I'm like, whoa, what's happening? And he's like, well, we can't fix this until you get the roof fixed. And then you have to have an electrician come out and, an electrician has to come out and fix the connection to the house, and then you have to have somebody come out and fix the roof around where the connection went into the roof. And once that's done and they say you're good to go, then we'll come back out from the electric company and reattach all the shit, because they had cut all of the power, the internet, they had cut everything. And I'm like, really? I was really not amused. So then we had to get an electrician to come out. And to be perfectly honest, I was not impressed with these electricians. I don't know what company they were with. I don't remember. All I know is that they were here for like an hour and a half dicking around. And they're like, yeah, we need to get a part, so we gotta go to Lowe's. We'll be right back. They were gone for like 2 hours. And Lowe's is like 20 minutes away. And I'm like, did they go to lunch and not say they were going to lunch? Like, hello? And are they coming back? Are they coming back today? Like, what? And in the meantime, while they were gone, the roofer showed up to fix the roof, but he couldn't fix the roof until these fuckers finished what they were doing, and I'm just like, oh. And the dude from the electric company that had cut the wires off the house, he goes, look, because this was an accident situation, they have to just dispatch us out to deal with it, to fix it once you guys are sorted. So as soon as this gets done, doesn't matter what time it is, he goes, as soon as it gets sorted, call back, explain the situation, and we'll come back out and reattach everything. And I was like, really? It doesn't matter what time they get done? They're like, no, because of the situation. And I was like, okay. The mother-in-law called back to the power company around 4:30, somewhere in that range. And they're like, okay, we'll send someone out. And we're like, okay, cool. 5:30 rolls around. 6 o'clock rolls around. Russell gets home. We explain the situation to Russell. And he's like, why didn't you call me? And I'm like, well, I didn't want to get you in trouble. He goes, no, this you could have called me for. I'm like, well, I didn't fucking know. And Russell calls the power company. They're like, yeah, we'll be sending someone out. I'm like, okay. 7 o'clock rolls around. We're like, hey, what's going on? Oh, we don't have any crews in your area, so we'll send someone out, but it'll be first thing in the morning. And we're like, that's not what we were told. We were told by somebody on the scene that because of the accident, they would have to come out that night as soon as we got the house dealt with. The house has been fixed for like 2.5 hours. What's going on? They're like, well, we don't have any crews in your area right now, so it's gonna have to wait till morning. And I'm just like, no. You don't understand. We lost all of the food in our fridge. We lost all of the food in the freezer. And then we have a second freezer that's about waist high. We lost all the food in that too. We lost like over $200 worth of food. And I'm just like, oh my God. We should have submitted those receipts. I don't know if we thought to at the time to get reimbursed from the other dude's insurance, from the dump truck's insurance. I don't remember if we did. We should have. The electricians charged us, or charged someone, billed us for $5,000 for 2 hours of work and another 2 hours of not being here. And I'm just like, what? Y'all just did the thingy on the roof. Like, that's $5,000? Are you kidding? We had like work done on our circuit breaker, and had a couple new circuits added, and they redid the grounding on the box and added an extra outlet, I think somewhere in the house, I think in the kitchen or something, and then grounded another outlet that Russell's computer was in for like $5,000. You guys were on the roof, and like they were here all day, and it's like, and you guys, like, what? I'm just like, right. I'm like, well, we're not the ones paying for it, so I shouldn't really give a flying fuck. But maybe they were charging that much because it was an insurance company situation. I don't know. But I was just like, really? It was something. And then we had to get a copy of the accident report and submit the bill from the roofer. I really liked the roofer. He was very nice. Considering he had to wait for the stupid electricians to come back and finish their thing. I think the mother-in-law ended up calling them. They're like, yeah, are you guys coming back because the roofer's here? I'm not trying to rush you or anything, but, you know. You coming back? Oh, it was crazy. Fortunately, it didn't hit the house. That would have been a disaster. I swear this property is cursed sometimes. Apparently there was a time when somebody else fell asleep driving and hit this side of the house, hit this room. Somehow they missed hitting the gas meter. And they had to have a window replaced and maybe some siding fixed or something in this room. Russell was a little nervous when we moved into this room, but we didn't really have a choice. We're running out of places to get shuffled to. And there was another time right after we got here. I don't think we were here 2 weeks. Maybe. And the mother-in-law had planned to go to Niagara Falls or something to see family up there. So we were kind of on our own. I'm trying to think, did we have a car? We might have had her car. I'm trying to think of, I think it was a family road trip and she went with his grandmother. So we had her car, is what I think it was, because I remember us having a vehicle. Because we had driven the U-Haul down, because we didn't have our own car at the time. We had just gotten down here. And I was still kind of fucked up from working overnights, so we had been asleep. And we'd had the window open. And I'm laying there, and I'm like, why did I wake up? And I'm real confused. And I'm like, I hear voices. I hear a lot of voices. What's happening? And I woke him up, and then we started hearing sirens. And I'm like, hey, what the fuck's going on? I'm like, I'm hearing a lot of talking. So we quick got dressed into more presentable clothes. And he stuck his head out and stepped out on the front porch, and there's like all these people crowded around the end of our driveway, and he's like, can I help you? Apparently they were trying to figure out if we were home. There's a doorbell on the one door coming in off the porch that doesn't work. It's not attached to a sound mechanism. And we really should put tape over that or put a sign on it. This does not work. Knock. And although I don't know if we would have heard someone knocking on this door, because it was not the door to the room that we were in. And they had been calling, but I guess were calling, and I guess it was the mother-in-law's cell phone number that was on file, not the house number. And I guess she wasn't getting the call, depending on where she was, because of cell service, or if she even had her phone on, we don't know. And they're like, oh, you are home, and we're like, what's going on? City guy had come out to read the water meter. I think they were with the city. That's who we pay the water bill to. And was trying to do it without getting out of his truck or something. I'm not entirely sure. Maybe he like pulled in the driveway in this pickup truck. Somehow or another, he read the water meter, and I guess he was trying to back out of the driveway, which is really difficult to do because this road is so busy. We've destroyed the backyard, and we have a little circle that we turn around in the back because it's just easier. We don't really care about the grass back there. Well, I guess he tried to back out and wasn't paying attention, or didn't see the gas meter, and backed up into it and got the truck axle stuck next to the wheel on the gas meter. And like we had to be evacuated from the house. I think we grabbed the dogs. Oh, did we have the dogs yet? No, we didn't have the dogs yet. We weren't sure if the cats were okay in the house. I can't remember if we put them in a carrier and took them out with us, or I don't remember. I think they were more concerned with us getting out of the house. And so we got in the car, and they're like, yeah, you have to go somewhere for a while. So we went, and we're like, where the fuck are we gonna go? I think we went down to Sonic and got something to eat, because we're like, okay. They were like, it was a mess. It was a mess. They had to shut down the gas main, and then they had to replace the meter, and then they had to come, like, I think when we got done eating, we just parked in our neighbor's driveway, because their driveway faces the side street, and we're just sitting there waiting. I think Russell walked over, and he's like, hey, what's going on? Are we good yet? They're like, no, not yet. We're like, let's get your... Where are you guys gonna be? And we're like, well, we're just sitting over here. And there was so many emergency vehicles and shit, and I'm like, this is a whole ass production, like, why? And it was a 3-ring circus. I'm just like, okay. Then something else happened involving the gas meter, and the guys had to come out. I think we thought it was leaking, or we thought we smelled gas on it, and they had to come out and check the meter. I think there was like a minor leak, and the dude was telling us, okay, the next time you think you smell gas, if you're not sure, he's like, take a spray bottle with like some dish soap in it and some water. He's like, spray over all the joints. If it starts bubbling, then yeah, you definitely have a leak. And we're like, okay. Or I could just call you and be like, hey, can you come out and check the meter? You're the professional. But whatever. And somehow that led to something else. And then they're like, this thing's like really right here on the edge of the road. We're like, yeah. And I think we got to talking about the last incident involving the gas meter, and that it hadn't been that long since they had come out and had to replace the whole thing. And the guy's like, really? He's like, well, we could put a cage around it. Like, not like a metal cage, but they're like, we can do a concrete, like, a concrete bumper. It's not like an actual cage, where it's like a square of concrete tubing. That's the only way I can describe it. And then that gets cemented in the ground, so if somebody hits it, they'll hit the concrete bumper and, in theory, not hit the gas meter. And we're like, yeah, that would be great. Because this is becoming a problem. And they're like, yeah, sure. And then somehow when they came out to do it, they decided, no, let's not do that. Let's just move the meter. Because we have this, like, brick planter box that I guess used to have a gas light in it. Gas light long since doesn't work anymore. Had like a little lampposty thing in it. And I guess they talked to Russell, and Russell was like, fine, whatever. And they moved the gas meter off the edge of the road and put it back behind this planter. They're like, the planter will protect it. I don't know if maybe they couldn't put the bumper around the gas meter where its current location was, because the water meter was right there with it. I don't know. For some reason they decided that moving it behind the planter was the better option. Still not really sure why. But it was like, okay, I guess. And then, you know, the sewer line replacement, that was hell. We're still paying that off to his aunt. I have no idea how long that's gonna take. I don't even know how much money we've technically paid her. Because I think it was... I don't know if we were paying her $100 a month. I want to say it was $150 between us and the parents, but I could be wrong about that. But we've occasionally had to skip a month so that we could restock our food supplies. I think we skipped like 2 payments. She knows though, she understood. But there were going to be times where it's like, yeah, we have to skip paying you this month because we need that money for food. So, oh goodness, it's some months are not as good as others. I have no idea how long it's going to take us to pay her back. I don't think we're quite up to a year. We might be approaching a year on that. Don't buy an old house unless it's in really good shape and you've had it properly inspected, guys. That's all I can say. The husband and I did not buy this house. The mother-in-law bought it after being pressured by her family to take it. Without finding out more about its condition. Because apparently we also need to replace the water lines coming in. Because when the plumbers were doing the sewer lines, they're like, Just so you know, these are a problem. They're only gonna get worse. They're still functioning. But I don't know how long they're gonna keep functioning. We're like, oh, great. Thanks. We were originally gonna do all of it in one go, but we couldn't afford that. Because that was gonna be like almost $10,000 worth of work. And we were barely able to get the money for the sewer line together. As it was. So that was fun. Apparently we had cast iron sewer pipes and cast iron water inlines. It's like, really? That's interesting. And all this time, this house has existed. Nobody thought that should be updated, apparently. I mean, the house was built in the 20s at some point. 1920. It's like, okay, sure, all the times this house has probably changed hands. Nobody's like, hey, this is an issue. But then again, I don't know how rigorous the house inspections are down here. They're pretty thorough up in New Jersey. So I don't know. From what I've read, landlord regulations, stipulations, rules, I don't know what you want to call it, is not very renter friendly, not very much on the side of the renting party, and seems to side more with the landlord. So like, if something's needs attention and you tell the landlord, they don't necessarily have to have it fixed within a certain amount of time, or fix it at all, apparently. Because the neighbor told her landlord that, hey, the deck is kind of rotting on the back of the house. It's attached to the back door. And they're like, yeah, okay, we'll take care of it. He's like, I'll get it fixed. That was like a year and a half ago, if not longer. So I don't know. She's like, I keep telling him. She's like, the windowsill's rotting on this window. Or wasps and shit getting in over the summer. Told him about that. There doesn't seem to be many repercussions for them not following through, I guess. Or maybe this particular landlord's just an asshole. I mean, entirely possible. Entirely possible. Alright, so we're working on getting this background sky color in, this pink, where Bob has it on his. His is a little more bright, shall we say. It's a bit of a brighter pink, but he also was talking about having it kind of soft. And this is the color that we decided to go with. So it's kind of like the last one where we kind of had to make the decision of adjusting some of the colors. Like, we're gonna try to stay as true to the colors that he uses as we can, but when he starts doing these particular pieces that kind of have the reduced color palettes, or the more muted color palettes, where he's kind of relying more on the blending medium on the canvas, it makes things a little bit more difficult in figuring out colors, because you can get a multitude of shades when you start blending all of that together, like a brown in with shades of white or pink or what have you. Get all kinds of colors, but it's not that simple when you try to bring it back around with fluff. So it's like, okay, like if you're doing like a 3D dimensional thing where you've got little tiny wisps and you can kind of get it to stand up and intertwine that way, that might be a little bit easier. But doing it flat, when you start tapping stuff in, gets a little bit trickier on how you're gonna approach the things. So I don't have to be too strict with following our sketch lines here, because they are sketch lines and we're probably going to overlap it a little bit. So this is going to be a background mountain. I'm going to be a little bit close to it. If we're a little short, a little over, it's fine. We'll make adjustments. It was just kind of to give me an idea of where we needed to be. And it's actually easier for me to do sort of a this goes here sketch on the felt. Sometimes I don't, sometimes I do. But I've found it's been a little bit easier, so that way I don't get too carried away and run out of room as we get towards the bottom, because that's kind of happened a couple times, or been close to happening a couple of times, where I'm like, oh wait, we're gonna run out of room, we need to hurry up and like squish this in here. I do believe this is the first tutorial of his that we've followed doing it this way, where it's in a portrait orientation though. I think we've done a couple painted versions where it's like this, but this will be the first needle felted one like this. You lucked out, your landlords are fucking awesome. Yeah, I mean, when you get a good landlord, you know, it's the greatest thing in the world. We had a great landlord in New Jersey at one of the properties that we stayed at. And, you know, whenever something was wrong or something broke, because that property had a well. And I think it was on Thanksgiving Day, the pump died. We weren't sure if the well ran out of water or what had happened on Thanksgiving. And he's like, look, go and get some water and, you know, let me know how much it was. And he's like, I'm going to start making some phone calls. And I think he wasn't able to get anybody out to fix it till the next day, I think. But I mean, he got on it, so I mean, he may have reimbursed us for the water, the bottled water that we had to buy. I can't remember that. He might have. But he was also an accountant. He had an accounting office next door to this property that we were renting from him. And then he put it up for sale. And we really liked that house. And my parents kind of wanted to buy it from him, but my dad got cranky when he wouldn't consider, which I think was kind of unreasonable of my dad to ask that when it wasn't set up that way. When he asked him to consider all of the rent that we had paid for the previous years that we had been there towards the cost of the house. And he's like, no. He goes, no, I'm selling it outright as this. And I think that was kind of dickish of my dad to ask that, but then my dad got mad. And I'm like, dude's trying to make money off this property. He doesn't want to own it anymore. And he wasn't anticipating that. And that might have been going to pay the mortgage on this property. Maybe he just finished paying the mortgage off. I'm like, you're the one that's being kind of stupid about it, not him. When the rental agreement was never set up for that, so this wasn't a rent-to-own property. Like, no. But, you know, my dad being my dad. And then that started us on a whole whirlwind journey of stupid, where we didn't know how long we were going to have to get out and couldn't find something quickly that was in budget. And then my grandmother was like, oh, well, you guys can move in here, because it was just her in the house at that point. And my mom's co-worker or ex-co-worker at the time, because I think my mom had stopped working at that point, was helping us move in, her and her son. I kid you not, we barely had the moving truck half unloaded, and my grandmother goes, you guys have a lot of stuff. And we're like, yeah. And then she was so worried that somebody was gonna tap one of the walls with something moving in, and we had just gotten the truck unloaded, and she's like, I've changed my mind, this isn't gonna work, you guys can't stay here. Really? So we lived there for like a week, had to get another rental truck. The landlord graciously let us come back until we could find somewhere else to go, but did warn us, you know, the property is still for sale. And, you know, when it goes for sale, you guys have to go somewhere. And we're like, yeah. So, he goes, and I need to be able to show it. So we're like, yeah, okay. So then we were back there, and then there had been talk of us just upping and moving to Florida, because there was some family on my dad's side that lived down there, and there was talk of moving down there. And then that didn't end up happening. And then my mom started looking at houses in the area that might have been in price range, and there was this one house that we really, really wanted to view, that she really wanted, and it turned out it was already under contract. So that sucked. And then we ended up with the house that we did. That ended up going into foreclosure eventually, because other life circumstances happened after that lovely moment. Oh my god, this wind. Like, I'm hearing it, like, whistle through drafty points. It's crazy. So yeah, that was the time I had to move twice in 1 week. That was not fun. Do not recommend. I had started to unpack too, and then it was like, I was in a really tiny, cramped room. And then it's like, yeah, your grandmother said we can't stay after all. I'm like, what? They're like, stop unpacking. Pack everything back up. Well, all this happened while I was going to school, so I'm like, fucking really? So not only did, was there disruption of having to move twice in 1 week, I was also in the middle of homework and all of the other things, and I'm just like, this is fucking stupid. That's crazy. Ugh. So, husband is supposed to be streaming tonight. He's supposed to stream at 8 p.m. Central, I think. He's gonna be doing RimWorld tonight. RimWorld, I think he's going unmodded for now. And it's kind of funny because it's driving him crazy because he doesn't have his mods that he's used to having. And I was kind of poking fun at him because I was like, oh, well, if you're playing modded, you should, have a ticker running at the bottom with what mods you're running. And he thought about it and he goes, well, I don't even know how many mods I have or the names of them all. He goes, I have so many. And he's like, but wait, I found a mod that will give me a text file of all the mods I have. I was like, really? You need a mod to tell you what mods you've got? He's like, yeah. I was like, all right. I was like, what, you don't want to type out all 120 mods that you have? I was just kind of, mocking him in a fun way. I wasn't being mean about it. And he goes, actually, I have, like, almost 400. And I was like, I'm sorry, what? Like, I was just messing with you. You have how many? It was like 300 or 400 mods. And I'm like, he goes, but they're probably not all functioning. And I just kind of like, I'm sorry. Back up. You have how many mods? He goes, yeah, but some of them might all not be working right now. And then he's like, you know what? We'll keep going unmodded anyway, because I don't want to explain every time one of the mods does something, what it was and what mod it was attached to and stuff. He goes, I'll just keep going unmodded. And I was like, okay. I think he said close to 400. Or maybe it was 300. It was more than the 120 I was messing with him about. That's for certain. He also has mods for Fallout 4. He was supposed to do Fallout 4 on Friday, but Friday was such a shit show. He was so tired. Because we didn't get much sleep Thursday night. And then Friday he was dealing with my dad in the ER and stuff. And he got home. What happened? Something happened. He got home and he was tired. He was trying to take a nap or trying to go to bed early. And he's like, no, I canceled stream. And I'm like, okay. He's like, but I can't sleep. And he goes, I'm not tired enough to sleep. He goes, maybe I'll try to do like an hour. And he had gotten up and he was starting to... oh, God. And he was starting to set up for stream after all. And something happened. what was it? Oh, maybe my mom wanted to go up and see him or something. He either took her back up. Oh, no, that's what it was. My dad has a rescue inhaler that he's not supposed to be using that much. But he's become, like, mentally dependent on it. That's part of the reason why he couldn't taste anything anymore. Because of one of the side effects from that medication. And that we kind of slowly figured that out. And in fact, his one lung doctor was absolutely horrified when he said how much he had been using it. And she's like, no, you're not supposed to be using it that much. And he had it in his pants pocket, and Russell had brought the bag with his stuff in it, and he'd left it in the car, not realizing that the thing was in his pants pocket. And my dad couldn't find it, and the nurse said that he could have it, but the visiting hours were only going for like another hour and a half, and it's like a 25-minute ride to the hospital. So he was like, well, I guess I'm not streaming after all. And then he had to turn around and drive back up there and give him his inhaler thingy. I can't even imagine getting off of work and being like, yeah, man, I'm off for 3 days. And then suddenly realizing, what do you mean it's Monday? I can't. That's gotta be one of the biggest Monday slap in the faces ever. Ugh. So I'm editing video tonight. Tomorrow's Tuesday. I'm probably gonna start to work on Night Shift Life. You're always confused. Yeah, pretty much. I did night shift at the casino. How long did I work for the casino? 7 years? 6 years? Something like that. And then did another 2.5 at Walmart overnights. I never knew what fucking day it was. Like, I had people so confused because I'm like, yeah, so tomorrow. And they're like, no, this day. And I'm like, yeah, that's tomorrow. And they're like, no, it's not. It's right now. And I'm like, look, I haven't been to sleep yet. My brain is still on, like, Tuesday. When I get up, it will then be Wednesday. I'm like, don't fuck with how I'm working things. It works. It doesn't make sense to you, but it makes sense to my brain. Just leave it alone. I'll figure it out when I wake up. Unless there is something pertinent that has to be done right now on this particular date. Like an appointment or something, then my brain is going to still operate under the fact that Tuesday is not over yet because I haven't gone to bed. Oh my goodness. I'm hoping our mountain color isn't too bold. Although the mountain color he used was pretty bold. It's similar to, let me see if I can get that up. Similar to that color. So it's, we'll see what happens with this one. Like I said yesterday, confidence level's like at a 3 right now. So, just don't know what we're gonna create here. I mean, I know what we're aiming for. You keep like toddler hours and I don't know, it's so confusing. Yeah, like I don't fucking know. Like my stream schedule is actually how I keep track of what day it is. So when I switched off of not streaming on Wednesday anymore, because Russell wanted Tuesday and Wednesday for him and Tyler to do stuff with, because Tuesday's their D&D day, or it's supposed to be D&D day. They haven't played like the last month because of everybody's schedules being crazy, and Tyler's school schedule is making life difficult on Tuesdays, where he only has like a 2-hour window to play between morning class and afternoon class. And so if anybody's late, it really fucks that over. So they've been trying. I think they might have to hold off until he gets a new semester or the end of the school year. I don't know. I don't know, man. And so you go to bed between 6 and 7 to wake up crying between 12 and 2. Jesus Christ. Ugh. Oh my goodness. And, oh my goodness. I wish I could sleep that late. I average about 4 to 5 hours of broken sleep. But, you know, it's just crazy. So I was streaming on Wednesday. I gave him Wednesday. And then for like 2 months, I kept forgetting that I had to still do the podcast promos and stuff on Wednesday. There were Wednesdays I just never did it. It didn't trigger in my brain that it was Wednesday, and then Thursday was the new start of my stream week, and I'm like, okay, and I'm like, oh shit, I didn't do the things last night that I was supposed to do. And it was all sorts of craziness. I'm still forgetting some weeks to do the thing on the right day. Right now, I'm just happy if I get the promos done on the right day, regardless of what time I'm doing it now, because I'm just like, Right now, the battle is remembering to do it on the right day. And then they went and changed. It's fine if you have no life. So it's fine. Oh god. Then they changed the day that our recycling got picked up, which was another day that I was using to remind myself it's Wednesday, because we had to put our recycling out Wednesday night. Then they changed our recycling day to Wednesday morning, so then the recycling had to go out Tuesday night. And now half the time I'm like, I don't even fucking know what day it is anymore. Like, did we miss recycling? Did we miss the trash? Is trash getting picked up this week? You tried having a life over the summer, it didn't work out so well in the end. Oh jeez. This craziness is my life right now. Then the effing ice storm fucked everything up, right? So we had missed putting, I don't know if we technically missed, we deliberately missed putting recycling out the week before because Russell and I both felt like hell, and we couldn't deal with dragging all the shit out from the kitchen out front to put it in its respective buckets for how they want it separated. And we're just like, fuck this, we'll get it next week. We don't really have that much. Well, we put it out, and I was thinking, well, they didn't say anything about not picking up recycling tomorrow. So I put it out Tuesday night, last Tuesday. And the roads were still kind of shitty, but they had been running the trash trucks, scraping the roads all day. So then I was like, well, maybe they will. So I hadn't seen anything on their Facebook page saying they were planning on not picking up the recycling. So I was like, alright. The next morning I woke up, well, afternoon, and then I saw a message that must have gotten posted at like 6 a.m. or something, because it was like 12 hours previously. Or like 4 a.m. or some shit. Yeah, we're just running trash routes. We're not going to be running recycling routes today. And I'm like, motherfuckers, I already have it on the curb. And Russell's like, well, I'm not bringing it back yet. He's like, maybe they'll run it tomorrow and start picking up recycling tomorrow, and they'll just do like a double run. Nope, never did. So we'll see. Now I've got recycling buckets outside that are overflowing. I've got plastic blowing out of it because it's so damn windy. And I've got recycling buckets in the house that are overflowing, and I'm just like, really? Really? Chaos and mayhem. This is my life. We don't have much of a life outside of, you know, our little bubble of, like, we don't really go anywhere. Number one, we don't have any money to go anywhere right now. We don't really go do anything. No money. But also, husband's anxiety prevents us from doing a lot of stuff. And I mean, you know, it's fine. It is how it is. I'm not big on going out that much anyhow. We're not really club people. We're not even really mall people, to be perfectly honest. We're not large crowded area people unless we're like, we really want to do the thing. Like, we have to really want to do the thing. But I think it prevented us from going to the zoo at all last year. And, we would probably try to go more if it, but it's like a big deal to try to go and stuff, but he has prevented a lot, or it does prevent a lot of stuff happening, but you know, we're kind of coping. Is everything okay?
So your dad is a little incoherent, but I don't know how much of that is a lack of sleep he's gotten in the last 4 days. So we're waiting to see what happens. He should be relatively healthy, but again, he's a little incoherent. But again, he hasn't slept properly in 4 days, and we know that fucks with him. So we're waiting to see how he's doing. But
I'm just saying, he was that incoherent. I'm surprised they cut him loose.
They don't know what's normal for him. He was more lucid the day before, so I really do think it's just lack of sleep. But I'm going to be watching him closely just to make sure. Okay?
Alright.
It's concerning, but it's not panic-inducing.
Alright. Chaos and mayhem. Chaos and mayhem. We'll see what happens. I guess that's all we can do. Your vacation was your life, and you'd been planning it since 2019, so it'll be a while before you get to have another life. I know that one. So, we had our honeymoon in 2007. Yeah, 6, 8, 7. Actually picked us getting married on June 8th because I figured it would be easier for him to remember our anniversary since my birthday's on August 8th, so like same number, not same month, but same number. And we didn't get married in August because of where we wanted to go. We wanted to get married in Key West, and we had to kind of hope that hurricanes weren't gonna fuck everything up, or a tropical storm, so we kind of tried to go as early in the summer season as we could. But so our honeymoon was June 07. We didn't get to go on vacation again until 2018, and that was really because the mother-in-law paid for most of it. We had a, like, not a a real vacation. We had the couple of road trips having to go up to New Jersey to get my dad and move him back down here, but that's not really a vacation because moving him anywhere was stressful with the amount of stuff that he had and medications and apparatus and shit that he had to have with him and paperwork and all that. So it wasn't really a vacation. It broke up the routine. And even though we hated the stressfulness of those situations, we kind of miss it. I guess of the periodic routine being disrupted. But yeah, our next real vacation was that vacation that we took in 2018. And I don't know when we're going to be able to do a vacation, like an actual vacation again. Probably not for some time. Because we kind of have to be here for the animals, because we don't really have a house sitter, animal sitter anymore. And the dogs have shown that, or at least Zuzu has shown that he is crazy and has severe separation anxiety even when I'm in the house. So they're a handful to travel with. We need a pet wrangler if we travel with them. Almost like we wouldn't be able to go and do anything because we couldn't leave them in the hotel room. Because Zuzu, I kid you not, last night, my mom wanted to go to Walmart, and then she was asking about other stuff and what shampoo I was using, and I'm like, well, I didn't get that at Walmart, I got that at Dollar Tree. And so then Russell's like, well, you want me to just take you to Dollar Tree? And somehow it turned into them going to Dollar Tree and then going to the hospital because my mom was weirded out by how my dad sounded on the phone when she talked to him a little earlier in the evening. And so they were gone for a little bit because they went up there just to check in on him real quick after they went to Dollar Tree, and then they went to Walmart to finish grocery shopping. I made my dinner. I gave the dogs a little bit of my rice mixed in with their dog food to kind of con them into eating their dog food. And I'm sitting here. I was like, alright. So I finished eating. I went to go do the dishes. And I just got done the dishes and sat down and saw 2 messages from Russell on Discord. And I was replying to him, and all of a sudden I heard this noise, and I'm like, what the fuck was that? I didn't know where it had come from, and I didn't recognize the tone and the pitch of it. I swear it sounded like someone trying to strangle a chicken, and I'm like, what the fuck was that? There's chickens. People are allowed to have like 2 hens in city limits and stuff. I'm like, did somebody's chicken get out? Is it being attacked by a cat? Like, is there a cat fight going on outside? I'm like, what is happening? So I got up and I went in my mom's room, my parents' room, and I'm like, Zuzu's sitting on the bed. And he starts wagging his tail furiously as soon as I ducked my head in. I'm like, was that you? I'm like, sir, he's been known to howl when he thinks he's the only one there. Like, when he gets upset, he'll start to howl. He won't do it in front of me. He'll only do it if he thinks he's alone in the house or something. I'm like, sir, I just gave you dinner not 15-20 minutes ago. You heard me doing dishes in the kitchen. You know you're not here by yourself. What is your deal? And I was like, then come in the other room then. And so I went and sat down to finish replying to Russell, because Russell had asked me something else. And I heard it again, and I'm like, what the fuck? And I got up. I'm like, why are you howling? I'm here. I'm in our room. You know, the room that you used to be in all the time. And then Zuzu started giving me all kinds of shit. He was back talking me, back barking me, like a fucking teenager. Burr, 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 burr. Every time I tried to say something, he would start barking at me. I'm like, look, I don't have time for your shit. Stop giving me shit. I've been here the whole time. I was like, Dad and Grammy had to go to the store. They had to get more snacks to share with you that you're not supposed to have, remember? I was like, what is your deal? I had to, like, talk him into following me into our room before he would calm the fuck down. I had to get him up on the bed. I'm like, you're being ridiculous, sir. Absolutely ridiculous. I was like, that's about enough of that. So I'm sorry this section's taking a bit longer, but you know, it's gotta get done. He's a stinker. I guess he was mad that my mom wasn't here. Or he was mad that Russell was missing. Something pissed him off. Like, I was not who he was looking for. But I also don't think Russell told him that they were going to the store. Like, we have to tell them short run that we're coming back to try to prevent that from happening. Sometimes it still happens even when we say it, but it happens less frequently when we say it. And if we don't say it, then it's all hell to pay while we're gone. My mom's like, oh my god, they were howling so loud while you were gone. I was like, oh, for fuck's sake. I was like, Suzu, there's times where we have to leave the house to go get stuff. Like, you're just being ridiculous. And a couple of times he gets Momo to chime in with him. Momo normally don't give a shit. He's like, okay, see ya. But there's a few rare times where he gets Momo going too on top of it. We were coming back from our walk one night and we heard them from like across our neighbor's yard and our windows were shut, and I'm like, oh, for fuck's sake. I was like, really? I was like, you need to stop. I'm gonna have the cops called because you're howling in the house for no reason whatsoever. So we can't really take them with us anymore, because if we leave them in the hotel room and even run down to the lobby to do something or to get a bag of candy from the little hotel shoppy thingy, they're gonna lose their fucking minds. That and the cats. So, I mean, the cats could probably be alone for a couple of days, but I wouldn't be gone very long. Like, maybe 2 nights they might be alright. But then we've got the spastic one that we have to keep sequestered because she gets mad at the other ones, so it really wouldn't work right now. So I don't know when the next time we'll be able to go on vacation. It's probably not for some time. Because we kind of have to keep an eye on his mom when she's here too. Not as close of an eye as my parents, but she still has freedom to come and go for the time being. But for a couple of days there, I had to play Keeper of the Keys because, you know, I had to know where she was going. Now, see, this section's softer, so maybe it was just that section didn't brush up right. Sometimes you hit sections where it brushes out really good. And then you'll hit other sections where it's like, what is happening? Alright, so we're getting a bit more of this filled in here. And I'm being kind of, you know, circular and fluffy with it. Because, you know, it is kind of like background sky swirlies, I guess is the best way to describe it. So this section doesn't need to be like fully solid one color. And like I said earlier, that gray underneath is actually kind of helping us here to a degree. Giving it a bit more of a slightly blended effect. I'm probably going to work on your pens tomorrow. Or at least that's my plan at the moment. I'm going to send them to you kind of oddly. I'm going to over package them just so you're aware. Just so that they don't rip out of the envelope like the Great Pin debacle from Stone. So I'm gonna put them through some sketchbook paper. The pin back is gonna be on the back. Just pull the pin back off and then pull the front of the pin through the paper, or off the paper, and then you can put the pin back on. It's just to keep them from getting fucked up in shipping. And then I'm gonna wrap some bubble wrap around it. And then I'm going to put it in a padded envelope. So just so there's no chance of the pin back getting caught in any machinery and ripping out. Because that would be a pain in the ass. I don't know when I'm going to be shipping them out. Let's see. It kind of depends on when I get my Twitch money. Oh, Ed found a toy. There's going to be crinkling in the background. Probably the end of February, beginning of March. I'm not 100% sure when you're doing it. The weekend you were thinking of doing it might end up being the Memorial. Okay, yeah, no, that's fine. It's just, in my brain, I need to do it soon. Number one, so I have the money to send it to you. Number two, so I don't forget. I just like clearing my deck of stuff that I was gonna do. So I'm like, okay, I can be done with that project that I said I was gonna do, and now I can take that off of my mental whiteboard, shall we say, and move on to the next thing. And that way, if I don't have the money in later this month or the beginning of March, then I can send it in April if it comes to it. And it gives me time to work on them. I think each one takes me about... let's see. When I did the demo one... I want to say maybe 45 minutes. But that was not counting dry time on the glue for the pin back, so... maybe add another Say overnight just to be sure on that pinback glue. It's not going to take that long, but I figure I'll work on that tomorrow to give me a break from video editing, because I'm going to be doing some editing tonight, and I'll lose my mind if I sit there trying to edit that many hours in a row, that many days in a row. Alright, so we'll get this tucked into here. You okay?
Uh-huh. Just playing phone tag, trying to get his medication and whatnot. I'll have to get it tomorrow, because we're out of some of it.
Is this new medication, or?
He's taking a lactulose, he's taking iron again, and he's going to be taking vitamin C, but the vitamin C will probably be over the counter.
You stopped taking the iron?
Maybe. I don't know. The way he's talking, I'm not entirely sure. Like I said,
Like, I never know if he's just deciding on his own to stop taking something, or if somebody told him to stop taking something at this point.
Trust me, I know. Alright, so...
Like, we might have to start telling his doctors we need a list of what he's supposed to be taking so we can check it against what he is taking.
I've got the list. I just don't know if he's taking it.
Yeah, we're gonna have to knuckle under and figure that out.
Well, again, it's an issue of him not saying anything.
Yeah, like, we might have to sit down with him and go through his pill box and be like, okay, are you still taking this? Are you still supposed to be taking this? Why haven't you taken it? Like, my dad will just get in these moods where he's like, I don't have the money for that, and I didn't say anything, I just didn't take it. Instead of calling the doctor's office and seeing if they had any samples of something until he got the money to get the thing, or being like, yeah, is there a cheaper version of this that you can put me on? He'll just not take it. And not tell us that he's not taking it. Like, we need to know these things. Unless that's why they were suggesting him going to a nursing home where someone else would be in control of his medication to make sure he was taking the things. I don't know. Oy vey. I'm gonna need a vacation soon. Oh boy. What can you do? What can you do? You know what we can do? We can stab our fluff here and make sure this section is good and attached before we move on to the next part. Alright. So you don't have to do this part, it's just something that I do. It helps everything lay down flat. It's not quite as uneven when you put it back down to work on it. I find it kind of helps with little dips and valleys from forming. Okay. Just kind of figuring out where I want to tuck this guy. Probably about in here-ish. Ish is such a technical term, isn't it? Thereabouts-ish. Here-ish. Approximately-ish. It really does cover a multitude of things. Ish needs its own classification. It's kind of like, it depends. Maybe, maybe not. Kinda, sorta. Stabbing the fluff seems like it would be rather soothing stabbing anything, really. Yeah, some days. Some days I'm like, but you know, it's like, some days it helps. As long as we're, you know, stabbing the fluff into the felt and not my fingers. It's a lot easier to keep my fingers out of the way when we're doing the flat stuff. The little figurines, it gets a little dicey, but so we're slowly taking shape. We've almost got the background of this portion. Sorry, I thought there was an extra piece of fluff attached to the bottom of that had gotten away from me. I'm like, where did it go? Alright, so we've got a bit more to finish filling in over here. And we do have a couple of thinner spots in here. I might fill those ones in. Those might be a little too thin for my liking. Let's see how this goes in here. I don't want this super tight. Power wash has that vibe too. Probably better for everyone. Power wash simulator. Yeah. I think Russell picked that up at one point. I want to pick up Garden Simulator. That looks fun. Place all of the garden gnomes everywhere. Like, I keep wanting to plot out this garden for our backyard, but money, number one. And number two, I don't know what the next couple of years are gonna bring, so I'm hesitant to invest the time, the money, and the energy into something like that if I don't know what's gonna happen. Like, I don't know if we're gonna end up moving down the road or not, so I kind of want to wait and see and feel that out. So it might be fun to do it in a simulated version instead. But I do have that on my list of things I want to get eventually. Right now I'm just trying to get my beta fish, so I have to clean my desk and reorganize everything to make room for the beta tank to be back on the desk. I was gonna get a new one, but we had... Tanks are so expensive. We have this octagon-shaped desk-sized one that I'm probably just gonna go back to using for now. Can't get my fish till probably sometime in March. Because we're gonna stick a filter in this tank. This tank didn't come with a filter. It was like one of those ones where you just have to do a water change every couple of days. But we found a small sponge filter that we're gonna stick in there. And I think I have to replace the heater, because the other one was super tiny and I don't know if it was actually doing anything, because our room can get super cold. So I might not have to run the heater in the summer, but at least for the rest of the winter I will. And if I can find the other camera, if I can find the second camera, we might have beta fish cam. If I can find it. I know we didn't get rid of it. It's somewhere in our mess of bullshittery that we have in multiple boxes, and I can't remember if any of those boxes ended up in the shed. I'm not sure. But we've got stuff stored in kitty litter boxes, and we were trying to write what was in them on the outside, and then I think we stopped. So I just don't know. We're gonna start with me ripping apart my desk and reorganizing that and seeing if it is buried in one of my desk drawers and go from there. So you're trying to clear out some space for a table to work on Warhammer minis. Nice. Russell used to paint miniatures. I don't know when the last time he painted miniatures was, but I remember buying him all kinds of stuff for it at one point as a Christmas gift when we were still in New Jersey. I think I got him like a multi-magnifier or something that had like different magnifying lenses and some paintbrushes and stuff. Alright. But yeah, no, I need to like thoroughly clean this desk and de-dust bunny it and all of the things. Especially since the little ledge that the tank's gonna go on. I don't know if I can do the fish, to be perfectly honest. I don't think I have enough electrical outlets. The space heater has to get plugged into the wall, and then my surge protector is plugged into the wall. And I don't know if I have enough open slots on the surge protector, because I've got the 2 art lights plugged into that, plus the desk light. And I can't plug the space heater into an extension cord. I might just have to be cold or hot, and during art times, or have a fan plugged in somewhere else in the room and pointed this way. We might have to do that. I don't know. We'll see. There's also apparently a USB plug missing on the octagon tank for something. For the light, I guess. I might have to see if I can find that octagon tank on PetSmart or Petco's website.
Why?
So we can figure out what that light is for, or what that wire is for. Like if it was just a USB or if it was actually a plug-in light.
It's a USB plug-in. That's all it is. I know what it is. It's alright.
Because I feel like that was like a USB connection, but it plugged into like a regular outlet. I don't think it had another USB plug on the other side. But now I'm not sure. Like we've got the heater wire wrapped up inside of the heater and the wire for it wrapped up inside the thing. We still have the gravel in there. We still have the little decoration that was in there. I saw the most awesome beta. Oh, what the hell was it? I did not know beta fish could be so expensive. It shocked me when we were in Petco. And there were some that were more expensive than this one that I was looking at. What the fuck was it called? I think it's called a butterfly beta. And its nose was like dark navy blue, and then it kind of got a little bit lighter to like maybe a royal blue, and then that kind of like dispersed outward, and then its fins were like iridescent clear white. I was like, oh shit, I like that. he was 15 bucks, and I mean, that's not expensive really in the land of fish, I guess. But I had never seen a beta that expensive before, and I was like, oh damn. And then I was looking at the price chart next to all the betas on display, and I was like, oh shit, there's some that are 30 bucks. I was like, oh my. That's a lot for a singular fish, although I'm sure that there are more expensive fish. But for my cheap ass, I was like, oh, okay. That's more than like the $3 beta fish that I remember them being. And again, that one wasn't fancy. This one was definitely fancy. I'm trying to find a flamingo decoration that I can put in the beta tank, and I can't find one. I seen a picture of one on Pinterest from Topfin. I know it exists, or did exist at one point, but I can't find it, and I'm thinking maybe it's a seasonal deal. Or I might just have to wait until the weather warms up again. To be able to find something I can stick in there. I was tempted to make something out of Sculpey, but I don't know if there's any chemicals that would leach off of the Sculpey being in the water, and I don't know if that would hold up in the water after it was baked, so... And I really don't want to kill a $15 fish by doing something I wasn't sure if I could do. Alrighty. Get all of this undone here. Or not undone, but attached. Okay, how are we looking? I mean, we're definitely swirly over here. Just trying to make sure that we're not too thin. Maybe one more little piece right in here. Maybe like right in there. Alright, that's pretty good. Alright, just checking the time. We still got time. I'm not feeding, well, I might be feeding you tonight. We haven't decided yet, right? He's not in here, he walked away. I'm talking to myself. That's okay. I'm good at it. It happens more than you would think. I wasn't sure if he was going to try to eat any of the mac and cheese that I'm going to make in a little while. Although I think, no, I think we have to go at least another hour anyway. Give my mom time to get out of the kitchen. Wasn't she supposed to? Sorry, I'm just remembering that somebody was supposed to make something food-wise, and she didn't do it. And now I don't know if we were supposed to do it. Okay, so let's take a look at our sketchy sketch. Alright, so we've got in our soft gray up in here. We just finished putting in our light rose, which is this in here. Next color coming in is going to be this one. And this is going to be from Paint Box. This is going to be Raspberry Pink. Okay. Whew. That's very bright compared to what we have down so far. Okay, let me, I know Bob did like all of this down in here already. We're gonna work in a slightly different structure. I want to work my way down. So we're gonna be jumping around a bit. Alright, so let's go ahead and we're gonna advance this a little bit. So yeah, like he went and put the water in. I did get the color fluffed for the water. I'm just not quite ready to put it in yet. I want to get like down to here before I start messing with that this time around. Alright, Bob, what are you doing? Alright, so he's gonna blend all that out. So yeah, like after he comes in and starts blending it, we could have probably gone with the medium gray on the top of the clouds here. Probably could have gone a little bit darker, but it's alright. What are you mixing? What are you doing? Okay. Hold on, I need to go back at this. What colors did he put together? Burnt umber, Van Dyke brown, and crimson. Okay. So he's kind of making a brown version of this raspberry color. I'm gonna see, to me that looks more like this raspberry color than it does brown. I mean, there's certain spots that have kind of that Van Dyke brown a bit. He kind of puts them in first. I'm gonna put mine in after. I mean, I guess we could put them in first. I mean, I guess that doesn't matter quite so much. I can't really tone this down with brown though. I didn't really have a maroon. I think I just kind of was like, fuck it, we're just gonna do it with this color. Whoop. Alright, so this is the Paint Box Simply Chunky. And this is available, I think, exclusively from lovecrafts.com. Fairly inexpensive. Non-sale price is $3.99 for that one doesn't have the size on it. I don't know why it doesn't have the size on it. Oh, it is on there. I just didn't see it. 149 yards. So 3.5 ounces of yarn. And that is kind of... Oh no, you picked up some dust bunnies. Shit. Alright, so it's kind of like this size. kind of like a tiny Nerf football kind of size. I need to finish fluffing that color. Not yet finished that one. Alright, so I'm gonna grab my sketchy poo here really quick so I can look at that plus where Bob's at. Okay, so we've got fuzz all over me. Okay. So this one, I'm leaning forward and my well-endowed chest is trying to run away with our art project every time I lean forward. Like, stop it. Alright, so he's just got like the stripey little guys. Coming in here. I'll tell you, everybody that wants a more well-endowed chest area. I implore you to speak to someone that already has a well-endowed front area. Before you go about seeking enhancements. Just to make sure you know what you're getting into, because damn. I'm like, I would rip these off and give them to you if I could, because they just get in the way and annoy me something terrible. I'm like, are you really sure? I don't think you really do want to enhance that. It's all fun and games until you try to sleep on your stomach. Or do anything. I'm also losing my voice, which doesn't help matters at the moment. Oh my goodness. Why? Why am I losing my voice all of a sudden? Oh, that's terrible. Effing allergies. Just stop. I'm just gonna fill in that little spot right in there. If we can here. Oh my goodness. What's got all the birds in a tizzy? I'm not sure if those are blue jays or crows, but something's all worked up out there. I wonder if Nom Noms was attacking the bird feeding area again. Alright, so there's one. Alright, let's get this guy. Alright, he's a little bit of a smaller guy. Alright, we're gonna put him kind of over in here. As best as we can. I mean, it's not a bad color combo. Not really. So one of the cats is doing something and it's severely distracting me because I can hear them doing something and I can't see them. And I don't know how much trouble they're in the process of getting into. So I'm currently having the debate in my brain of, do I need to get up? It's kind of like quiet toddlers. What are you doing? Like, pets and kids, man. Somebody dropped something out in the kitchen. Pets and kids, they go quiet for too long. Like, what are you doing? That's when you need to get up and go investigate. Alrighty. Get this guy in. Now, my mom had said something about making soup today. And then I just kind of realized, I don't think she ever made it. And then I wasn't sure if Russell was supposed to make it. But it sounds like he's out there helping her make that now. I don't know whose recipe it is. It might be one of Russell's old recipes. Okay, I don't want this too close to the peak since it's going to be the same color as our mountain guy. So we're just gonna tap that into there. So last night's Planet Zoo VOD, that will get, I mean, it's been exported to YouTube. It's not going up right away though. I need to finish editing the stuff I've done up to that point, and then I need to also upload Russell's Planet Zoo VOD from Saturday before I can put ours up from last night. So give me about a week on that one. Maybe. Or maybe like a solid week before I can get everything uploaded there. I'm just trying to make sure that we are good and attached here. I think we have one more of these guys to add in. Looks very different on the back. Looks very like, what the hell are you trying to do from the back? This one's just so fluffy. The paint box, Simply Chunky, really brushes out very well. Very, very well. Almost has like a satiny feel to it. Okay. We've got another guy. Maybe. Maybe in here. Well, this one's probably gonna touch the side of it. I do apologize for the revving in the background if you can hear it. It seems our revving engine repeatedly person is back, and I don't even know if they're revving a car or if they're revving a bike. I don't know. It seems like the car wash is the spot to hang out in again. Oh, can somebody explain this to me? We still had ice on the ground. Like, we still had a shit ton of sleet on the ground. The side streets were still a mess. Russell and I had to walk down to the grocery store to get something because it wasn't really a good idea to be out driving too far. And we walked past the car wash. It was below freezing. It was like 20 some degrees out. The wind chill was like 13, I think. And as we're walking across the front parking lot, or the pull-in for the car wash right down from us, somebody pulls in to one of the bays, and I'm like, really? And he goes, oh, it's probably the dude that works there or owns it. And I'm like, okay, maybe they're just checking on things. And then we hear money going into the sprayer and the sprayer turning on, and him and I are like, what are you doing? Like, I get that people want to spray the salt and the sand off of their vehicles after the storm. Don't people normally wait until they're done salting and sanding and everything goes away? Like, I didn't understand why you would be doing it when there was still shit all over the place on the roads, and you're just gonna kick it back up getting home, and your vehicle's gonna look like you never even sprayed the stuff off by the time you get home. I did not understand this, and it just baffled the fuck out of me. I'm just like, why? This doesn't make sense. I don't get it. Alright. So I think that's all of the little cloudy guys that I'm gonna put in here. Alright, so he is using that same color with the fan brush, and then he's gonna, so he's gonna start to put that guy in. So it might be on the more browner side of alizarin crimson for what he did. So this is another one of those colors that I kind of just had to executive decision what we were gonna do, because yeah. So this is more of like a silhouette. For what he's got going on here. Alright. I just want to see. Okay, so we put the mountain in. And then he starts doing some cloudy dews. Over that. Okay, and I can kind of see where I put that in on the sketch. Kinda. Kinda. Okay, and then he mixed a lighter version. Is that when he started to do the... Okay. What did I do? Because now I'm looking at this. Was there trees back in there? Oh. Hold up. Did I done fuck up? Hold on. Okay. Alright, then there's more cloudy things. I had picked a different shade of pink to go in there, because it looked pink to me. Ugh. Really? No, 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 no ad, no ad, no ad. I'm just trying to see. What did I do here? Okay, that's the waterline. Should this be a gray instead of a pink? Let me see. What were you thinking on this? Okay, I think I know what I'm gonna do. All right. Frustrations with myself over not remembering where I was going or why I picked those colors. Look, we can erase paint from the canvas just like that. Okay. Well, I don't know what the fuck I was trying to do there, so we're gonna wing it now. Okay. So I'm gonna come up a little bit onto our pink area. Not a whole lot. Just so we don't have any awkwardness of like any mind the gap situations here between the two colors. Kind of deal here. Okay. So like I said earlier, these pen lines were all just, you know, a rough approximation. And we probably wouldn't be, except for the outside edge ones, the inside edge ones, those were all kind of suggested guidelines. Not necessarily we have to follow this exact section here. Alright, let me pop that up. This stuff's almost too soft. Like, I love it, but at times it almost feels so soft that it's hard to twist it. But that is not that big of a deal. I just kind of wanted to make sure that we were not having a gap develop there, because I suddenly wasn't certain. You okay?
Yeah, just trying to find what I did with my phone. Over here.
Maybe.
There it is.
Alright, I'm going to try to bring that to the edge. Oh, right, and I still have that speed paint I need to work on too. Planet Zoo first, though. Let's get the Planet Zoo editing done before I drive myself crazy with the speed felt. See, I almost forgot about the speed felt there. Just kind of happened to pop back into my brain. Hey, you know, you still need to do this too. Alright, let me see about popping this guy up. We're getting some new colors in our mat here. It's kind of exciting. Getting some pinks worked in there. Hang out with all that blue. I don't even know what the next one is after this. I don't remember looking, to be perfectly honest. Episode 4 and this one for episode 5 have just been consuming my I don't know how I'm going to approach this. Mental space. I know, I wandered away and I was like, this doesn't look like it's fully attached. I had to nudge my brain back into, you know, you weren't working on that section, right? It happens sometimes. Alright, so I'm just kind of outlining this area in so I know where we're going next. I'm hearing all kinds of like thumping through the floor and I don't know what's going on. Unless the cats are being dumb again. Which is entirely possible. Cats! Yeah. It was P-Butt. It's always P-Butt. Usually it's always Cow. P-Butt's been making up for lost time, apparently. P-Butt's favorite thing to do, and regrettably he's taught Ed to do it now, is to lay down on the floor next to, I guess the box spring base that our mattress is sitting on. So we have one of those foam mattresses, so it's not really a box spring, but this fabric coated base that the mattress is sitting on. He likes to lay on the floor next to it and then starts sharpening his nails in the fabric that's running around the bottom edge. And so this base is hollow inside, except for, you know, the frame that supports the mattress. So when you're laying in bed, all you hear is thump, 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 thump from him ripping his claws in and out of it. And I'm like, oh my god, stop. Well, now his newest little shenanigans with that is he'll lay on the floor Except instead of just ripping his claws into it while I'm trying to sleep, he's now decided it's more fun to drag himself along the floor while shoving his nails and ripping them in and out of this fabric around the bed. So he'll drag himself like as far as he can go around the edge of the bed doing this. And I'm like, must you? Could you stop? And they know they're not supposed to do it. They know I'm gonna yell at them for it. Because he knows when he's in trouble, because when I yell at him, he takes off running. Except now he's taught Ed to do it. And Ed's doing it now. And they were both doing it the other night. One was on one side of the bed, and one was on the other, and I'm like, oh my god, stop. Because not only was I hearing the noise through my pillow, they were also shaking the bed back and forth, and I'm like, stop. You guys are so bad. I don't know what's gotten into these cats in the past, like, week. But something sure has. That's for certain. Okay, so I know it doesn't look like much at the moment, but we're getting there. It's starting to turn into something. How good of something or how bad of something is yet to be seen, but it's definitely starting to turn into something. Okay. That pulled a little too much in one go than I necessarily wanted. Oh, this is so bright on these other colors. Hopefully this wasn't a mistake. I mean, we're kind of committed now, but it looked decent on paper. I mean, you know, what can you do at this point? Not a whole lot. I really don't know why I went with that other shade of pink. I don't know what I was thinking. We might just roll with it and put that in anyhow, and maybe add some gray on top of it for some tree line. We could do that. I don't know, man. I just work here. I'm not the boss. So, let's see about adding that in there. And I want to do this gently because I don't know how well attached that little bit is that we just kind of tapped in there. Just didn't want to rip it right back out without meaning to. Okay. So, get this tapped into here. And we're going to come back and fill this centerpiece in. I just really wanted to get our outline going. Just to make life a little bit easier. We just have this bottom outline still to go for this part. So we still kind of have to get that edge there, but should be okay. Alright. Now, let's get a little bit more fluff and stuff. And we'll start to fill this bad boy in. Or at least start to figure out how we want to fill him in. Kind of doing that edge a little bit blindly there. I have a feeling I'm going to have to be doing a bit of overlapping in spots. And that's okay. Not a huge deal. All right. So get this next bit kind of compressed on itself, because this is where we want to start making sure that we are filled in pretty good here. You alright?
Oh, as good as I'm gonna be. Oh, shit.
Do I need to do something?
No, not at the moment.
Alright. So, get this worked into here. Get that gap filled in. We're not going to want any gaps on this part. So like up in here where we had some thin spots, that was okay-ish. Kinda. Sorry, I thought I saw a larger gap than what that might actually be. Just wanted to make sure that was okay. I think it is. Should be alright. Okay. So we'll finish getting that worked into there. So this section we're really going to want to take our time and be mindful of how we're filling in. Just want to get a good solid layer of color worked into here. And hopefully we have enough of this color fluffed. I think we might. I don't foresee us going through an entire Ziploc, but it also depends on how full I have this Ziploc. I'm not sure how well I packed this one. Okay. So that's doing pretty good in there. All right. So I'm still not 100% sure about our color choices now that I'm putting this in. Maybe we should have gone with the darker gray in the sky, but the lighter gray is where we're at now. I mean, it's not looking too bad at the moment. I mean, looks a little strange, but it's because of our colory choices. I couldn't find my mouse. All right, so here's what we're gonna do next. I think we're gonna pause here and we'll pick this back up on Sunday as our next art day. And because I need a break and I need to go make dinner and do a couple other things, check in on things. So thank you guys for hanging out with me this afternoon as we try to muddle our way through the arts and stuff. I have a gap in there I need to fix. We'll get that next week. Yeah, so you guys hang in there. Thanks for the Zorts bit. Thanks for the bits, Zorts. Oh my goodness. Yeah, brain's just totally done. Good time to go. Thanks for the bits. I'll talk to you later, sir. I hope your week improves. I hope everybody's week passes quickly. And I will see you guys on Thursday? Yes, on Thursday for Coral Islands. And maybe a bonus Planet Zoo stream later in the evening. We'll see. We'll see about that. But yeah. So thank you guys. And until next time, have a good one.